Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Your Excellency, very much, Ambassador Baudet, for this initiative. And what you said at the beginning is really music to my ears in your opening remarks. Christina, my good friend, Mark, we met before, and we value the work of your organization. And also Reverend Messenger Girsa from the Permanent Observer Mission of the Holy See. We thank you very much. Also, I'm happy that to be in this platform and to be discussing all these important issues here on behalf of the High Representative for the United Nations Alliance of Civilization. So thank you for inviting us. The topic that you had just mentioned, or the topic that you are discussing today, is a very important topic, the importance of interreligious and intercultural dialogue is the core of the mandate. Promoting intercultural and interreligious dialogue is the core of the mandate of the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations since its inception more than 10 years ago. And the high-level group of experts which created the Alliance of Civilization and put guidelines to its mandate had realized that religious leaders in particular play a major role in the promotion of diversity, tolerance, respect of the other, rather than fear of the other. And when you look at the state of affairs that we see right now, we see that this particular topic, which is interreligious dialogue, is a topic which is has an unparalleled importance. You see the state of affairs where we see wars, we see conflicts, we see hate speech. Our modern history is increasingly characterized by manifestations of violence and intolerance, and the public discourse has been culturally and religiously intolerant rhetoric, and increasingly so. And once the rhetoric and xenophobic rhetoric prevails, we see that it starts or triggers some sort of a cycle of violence. And the cycle of violence will go on. And unless we stop it, we will never have peace, we will never have security, we will never have the stability that we all aim at, and which are the pillars of the United Nations in general. So from having said that, this is why the role of the religious leaders have to be promoted within their communities. They have to have the support of the governments where they work, the governments in the countries in which they work, because the support of the government is very important. Collaboration with the government is very important. And sometimes we see that in certain governments do not empower the religious leaders, but also the religious leaders have to practice their role with a kind of responsibility, because they do have an influence in the public discourse. They do have influence on youth. And with the rising wave of extremism, particularly with Daesh, and how they managed and succeeded in recruiting young people, many of these people had been recruited through public places of worship at some point, and that's why it is there where the religious leaders has to play a very important role in moderating the way they address religious issues, in the way they address. We have to let's say, reform the way that we address those important issues, because the recipients, who are basically youth, are the ones who are going to be targeted by extremists. We have to give them the power, we have to give them the right knowledge, we have to give them the correct interpretation of the holy texts so that they do know what they are doing. So this is where I think the religious leaders is very important. The United Nations Alliance of Civilization realizes the importance of interreligious dialogue and intercultural dialogue, and that's why we were considered as a basic and a main platform. We created a platform for religious leaders to discuss several issues relevant to the mandate of the alliance, in the sense that they promote tolerance. We encourage them to promote tolerance, to promote diversity, and to promote respect of the other. I just want to give you an example of a most recent endeavor that we have done recently, and it was a meeting and an initiative that was organized by the government of Spain, the foreign ministry of the government of Spain, and we were very proud to be part of this initiative. Just a couple of months ago, in November, we hosted in the beautiful coastal city of Alicante in Spain a summit for religious leaders, and for the first time we had more than 30 religious leaders representing the three Abrahamic faiths, Christians, Jews, and Muslims from the Middle East. And when I say the Middle East, the target of that meeting was to bring Palestinians and Israelis and to bring Jordanians, and these were the religious leaders that were presenting these three entities, to talk together in a meeting, in a summit. And for the first time, they came up with a declaration acknowledging how important is the role of religious leaders, and that the religious leaders have to play a role in the political process when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And this acknowledgement, we are trying to build on it, because we consider that this is a first step. It's not an end in itself. We should continue this dialogue. We should continue to enhance and promote dialogue of those religious entities, because at the end of the day, they do play a role, they do have an influence, and to ignore the role that the religious leaders are doing in conflicts that are as lasting as that of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, it would be it would not lead to the viable or the sustainable solution that we are aiming to have. I would like to leave it there. I am happy to be answering any questions if there are any questions about the work of the United Nations Alliance of Civilization. Thank you very much.